Right, and we're back to Prime Morning. Get ready to get interactive with us on all our social media platforms. You know that is the month of October, and during this month, we push the awareness for breast cancer. And so I urge each and every one of you to get interactive with us on all our social media platforms, because I know that this one would interest every single one of you, especially my dear women out there. My name is Asiedua Akumia. Before we get started, a huge thank you to Nutri-Snacks Oats Digestive. Like I always say, if you want to go on a diet and you want to enjoy something delicious and healthy at the same time, you can opt for Nutri-Snacks Oats Digestive. It's full of fiber, it's full of nutrients, vitamins, perfect for you. It's not only for kids, it's for you adults as well. So you can offer Nutri-Snacks Oats Digestive. Now let's get started into today's topic for discussion during, which is the Good Living segment. You know, every single Tuesday we bring in the health segment. And because it's the month of October and it's Pink October, we are talking breast cancer. We are talking how the right support is important, the importance of the right support. You can have any form of support, but the right one is what we are focusing on today. Now, I chanced on some research on the internet, and it read that in Ghana, over 4,000 women are diagnosed with breast cancer annually, and almost half of them will die. What alarmed me was the will die that was there, that it is something that is it will happen. It's happening. And you know, we have some developing countries that the mortality rate of breast cancer is decreasing. But is it the same for Ghana? Is the mortality rate for breast cancer decreasing here in Ghana? What exactly is being done about it? What is the level of support that women that are being diagnosed with breast cancer are getting right here in Ghana? I have women seated with me today. They're going to share their journey with us. They're going to talk about getting the right support. They're going to talk about how things have been for them so far. I'm excited about this one, and I know you will be too. And so, let me introduce my first guest to you. She's a lawyer. She's a mother. She's a survivor of breast cancer. And she's the co-founder of Safe Haven Breast Cancer Center. It's not just here in Ghana, but there's one center in Canada as well. She's in the person of Janet. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I am good. You?
I'm great, and I'm excited to have you here.
I'm very happy to be here.
Yes, for you to share your journey with us, and then what the center, the support center, is all about as well, and what exactly you do. So I'm excited about this conversation.
I am too.
Right. And seated to her left is, she's widely known as the Queen of Jazz. She's a mother, she's a wife, she's a grandmother. She's a breast cancer and cervical cancer survivor, and she has so much to share. She's super, super passionate about, pushing the whole agenda of how to best survive or how to prevent, if necessary, breast cancer. And so she's in the person of Stephanie Benson. I wish I would mention, the Queen Mother title and then all that. But then I would ask her at some point whether she has put that aside and just focusing. But, that isn't the focus right now. The focus here is to talk about breast cancer and what she's doing exactly to push this agenda. She's currently in Ghana to push the awareness of the more. Good morning, Stephanie.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm not too bad at all.
Right.
It's a rainy day.
It's a rainy day. Yeah.
It's a good day.
Right. Okay, so let's get started with your journeys. Janet, I want to start with you. Your journey of being diagnosed of breast cancer and being a survivor.
Mm-hmm. So in 2011, I was doing a breast exam like we're taught to do. And I noticed that I had a lump. So immediately I contacted my family doctor and I had a mammogram done. The mammogram came back a false negative, meaning they said they didn't see anything.
Okay.
But I pray a lot. I just felt very uneasy. I felt that something was off. So about 2 months later, my family doctor referred me for a second opinion. So I had another surgeon examined me, he thought there was nothing wrong either, but he did a biopsy right then and there, and it came back that unfortunately I had cancer. It was aggressive, and I was already at stage 2, going on stage 3. So if I hadn't been intuitive and prayerful, I probably wouldn't be sitting here today. So, I had surgery. I had a mastectomy, took the whole right breast off.
Okay.
I had chemotherapy, and I had radiation and some other kind of treatment for the type of breast cancer that I had. And I was home for about 1.5 years getting treated. So that's my journey. But I realized whilst I was on my journey that I didn't see Black people talking about cancer at all in my community in Canada. I was referred to a support center from the hospital, and there were only Caucasians. There was no Black person. And in my Ghanaian community as well in Canada, I didn't know anybody who looked like me, who said they'd had cancer or anything like that. So I started asking around, and I just realized that it's almost like taboo. And people look at you differently. People used to call me by my name before I had cancer. After I disclosed that I had cancer, people say, "Oh, the woman who has cancer." Oh. It's like you're even losing your identity, So I just started speaking about my experience a lot. And so people would refer people to me on a very informal basis. And so Janice has been through the experience, talk to her. So that's how I started this journey, just talking to people. And so people were coming out to speak to me. And it got to a point where, I was having so many people speak to me that it was suggested that I form a non-profit. So I started the non-profit here. I registered it here in Ghana in 2013.
Okay.
And so what we do is to educate people. Our main aim is to educate people and to inform them about basic breast cancer facts, which is very important, and also to support people who are going through this journey, because I found out that there was no support.
There was no support.
No support.
Okay, yeah. Right. Stephanie, your journey.
That's quite something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I had the exact opposite. I did not feel anything. I didn't even self-examine. It was just by pure fluke, actually, because my aunt was dying from bowel cancer. And she was in a hospice in the UK. And I was feeling unwell on occasions. I'm one of the fittest people I know. And I just, I was occasionally getting like tired and And my aunt said, I better go and get myself checked. But the fact is, my mum had died of breast cancer about 48 years old. My grandmother died of breast cancer at 48 as well, and I was 48. So it was this stigma around, and I don't believe in I'm not a superstitious person. I don't believe in that whole stigma thing. So when she said, I thought, okay, I might as well just go and have myself checked. So I went initially for a smear test, and it came back with some irregularities there. 2 weeks later, I went to have a mammogram, and then that also came back positive. And then it was a choice between what to do first. The consultants decided that it was best to take the breast first, because I'll go into what's it called, early menopause, and they want to minimize the effects of that. So I went to have both my breasts. I had a mastectomy.
For both?
But it was only on the left.
Okay.
But for me, I think it wasn't a choice of holding on to both my breasts. I'd watched my mother die from hanging on to one breast. I'm not saying that, anybody should have both but I remember when it came back, she wouldn't talk about it because she refused to have the other breast removed, and she died at 48. So I think I was a bit angry about that, and I refused to leave my children the way she left us. So I think as soon as I found out, I spoke to the kids about it, and they were all, pretty gang-ho, like, how are we going to make this work? I don't ever remember being sad. I just thought, let's just do it. So I had a mastectomy on both breasts, and then 6 months later, that came with this trials. That was like quite a trauma in itself. and then I had my womb taken out to a full hysterectomy in the space of a year. And here I am today.
You know, I chanced on an interview of yours where you mentioned, you were asked, did the surgery take anything away from you? And you said, it didn't. It's just flesh.
It is.
That is just flesh. But then one would say that these things have some level of impact on you psychologically, emotionally. So if I'm to say that, oh, it's just breasts, so just look at it that way, just have the surgery, it would really seem like a lot of things are not being taken into consideration. Because emotions are being connected to this. And then the fact that you know that you are married, there's a high possibility that your husband wouldn't see you the same way anymore. There's a possibility that your children wouldn't look at you the same way anymore. And then I'm really interested in knowing how your partner even dealt with it.
I mean, I'm one of those people that I don't let things like that affect me.
Okay.
Because, I mean, my thoughts were, if my husband was going to see me a different way, of course I have no breasts, and he's going to look at me without breasts, considering I was a double E at that time, before I had the mastectomy.
Okay.
I thought, if you're going to look at me differently, then Masa, let me just pack your bag and you can go and look for some breasts somewhere else. I wasn't, you know, I didn't even consult him. He was sitting right next to me when I told the doctor that we should have both breasts removed, and I just turned to him and said, right? And he said, right.
Just like that?
I mean, what else is he going to do? What, I should die just because he likes my breast? Makes no sense to me whatsoever. So it wasn't his choice. It was mine.
Right.
And he had to deal with his own issues with that. And if I wasn't enough, then he can go. I mean, I've made sure that nobody can look at me and refer to me as the woman with cancer, because I am not my breast.
Exactly.
You know, so if you're going to look at me and that in a different way, because I don't have nipples or breasts,
that's your problem.
It's your problem.
But Janet, how did family deal with that?
Well, so backtrack a little bit. 3 years before I was diagnosed, my husband died from colon cancer.
Oh,
so the reason why I became very passionate about cancer things was because of him. Because I realized that, again, black people don't talk about anything, and we're not very proactive when it comes to healthcare. So, you know, he had, colon cancer is very treatable. He must have had it for 10 years. That's what the surgeon said, and he didn't know. But after he died and I read about, you know, the symptoms and that, I just realized that, yeah, the symptoms were there. We just didn't know. So for me, getting rid of the breast was a no-brainer. I didn't think about it. You know, it's like I'm the only parent. I have to live. So I just got rid of it. And of course, I wasn't married, so I didn't have that, you know, problem of whether my husband would. But if he was alive, I mean, it was a no-brainer.
It was a no-brainer.
Yeah, get the diseased part off. And there's always reconstruction. I've had reconstruction.
Okay.
So 3 years ago, I, you know, did reconstruction on both breasts. So my other breast was not affected, but I just took it off and did reconstruction on both. So for the women out there, because I speak to a lot of women, and sometimes they will not
take nipples.
No, I was going to do the tattoo, but you know, COVID hit. So then I didn't do it, and now I'm lazy.
Mine didn't work so much because my skin was so thin from radiotherapy that they couldn't reconstruct the nipples, and even that tattooing was not taking.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't have that. You're lucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it just got really. I mean, it looks like shit right now.
So you have no nipples?
I have no nipples. It's not even tattooed. It's like,
Yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't affect me at all. Sometimes when I post certain things and people look on my page, they say, "Oh, she's showing all her breasts and nipples." I'm thinking, no, it's not. It's my ass, really. That's on my body. Because they take the fat from somewhere, don't they? Yeah. So it doesn't affect me. But you're right. There is a stigma out there about breast cancer. A lot of women wake up in the morning, you know, trying to not tell anybody. I mean, it's a conscious effort not to tell somebody that you're struggling. Yeah. You know, and it kills me because some of them will hold on to their breast and try all kinds of medicines because the husband refused to let them go. I speak to so many women. I'm like you, and I fund so many women, and on my own because I'm no charity, and it really gets up my wick when you say I will pay for you to get better. But then they say, my husband says that if I do it, they're going to leave.
Exactly.
And I'm sitting back, I'm thinking,
yeah,
okay, so your husband wants to see you die then. And, oh no, mommy, he thinks that it may be prayers or whatever. And I said, well, then you go home and then die just for that man who's probably going to leave you anyway.
Yeah.
Or even as soon as you die, he's going to marry somebody else right next
immediately.
door, if he's not already seeing them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you try to rationalize with them. Sometimes I don't speak like this to them. I try to rationalize and say you have children or you're going to have children, so live for your children more than, a man. It doesn't always work. Sometimes it does work. And I pray to God, and hence the fact that I speak so much about it. But another thing that, I don't know whether you agree or not, breast is a sexual thing. And also it's something that we use to breastfeed our children.
Yeah.
So it only has two functions. And nowadays we have, powder milk, right? Some women with breast can't even breastfeed.
That's true. They can't produce naturally.
Yes, naturally. So the pleasure thing, when you actually start to talk about how sexy you can still feel without breast, we say, oh, you're overdoing it. But that's what I always portray on my page. Because I don't have any breasts, but I still feel sexy on my
very
page.
Confident in yourself.
And that's what I want to tell those women, that you can have those taken out, but you still feel good. I found different places on my body that, that excites my husband, and also that will excite me outside of my breast. So, and I know you haven't got your husband yet. I'll find you something else. So,
Yeah. And I mean,
I
always tell the women who have that problem, look, your breasts are not there. You have other parts of your body.
Yes.
I speak to their husbands sometimes, and I say, grab another part.
Right.
It's not only the breast.
It's morning TV. Otherwise, we'll talk about it.
Right. So, but I want to know that sometimes is it very difficult speaking to these women, especially trying to convince them that this is the reality of things?
Well, what I have found is that because I am very open about what has happened to me, it also gives them the permission, if I want to put it that way, to speak. And I don't know if we'll come to that a little bit later, but we have created this space. It's not just in October that we do this. It's the whole year round. And we actually have a center, a place where the women can go and just be themselves, and they talk to each other, they have fun. We have programs for them. Sometimes we have like a makeup session, we pamper them, all sorts of things. So they just come there and they tell their stories, right? So they open up a bit more because I am open about what happened to me. And that there's some of them who came who, wanted to hide everything. But I saw some of them on some of your shows this year when I came down, so it's just instilling that confidence in them and letting them know that they're still a person, they're still them, and they're even more courageous than someone else because they've been through it and they're still standing.
Stephanie, so on your journey of pushing this awareness, what has been the craziest question you've been asked in relation to breast cancer?
I think a lot of people see me on my page, so I think there isn't any radical questions that they haven't already heard and that I've spoken about on my page. So I don't think I've heard any crazy questions besides how does your husband feel when you take your clothes off or something like that, And I asked him, what is he supposed to feel? I have a vagina. I mean, it's like what else? It's all good. So I mean, I think it's a really ridiculous question. If he loves me, he's not going to be, And I usually sit, if I want to entice him, I'm usually sitting with my legs open anyway, so he's not looking at my breast. So I just think there's ways to
different ways
for your mind to just relax about stuff like that, so you don't think it's all about the breast. I mean, we try to make it some really serious thing and whatnot, but it really is because of sex that a lot of people want to hold on to it.
Yes.
So let's just lay it out there. It's not because, oh my God, I'm going to lose my breast, and it's because it's a sexual object. What else? Outside of babies and breastfeeding, but you can breastfeed with bottles, you know? It's easy for me to say because I'm 56 and I had my 5 children. But even if you're young, think about it. There's bottled milk. And you're going to save your life if you take your breast off, or if you have to have a lumpectomy. And nowadays, the treatments are so simple. If you catch it early, you survive. Simple as that. You know, even if you don't catch it early, you're at stage 2 and still survive. I know a few ladies who have got to stage 4 and still survived. So let's just, you know, just get it over and done with. You know, don't go to some pastor who's going to feel your breast and tell you he's healed you, you know. So I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
I have hundreds and hundreds of DMs from women, you know. They have, and it ends up being a boil. And some person in the church is saying, I've healed you, and squeezes their breast and whatnot. Yes. Oh. Ooh. Like, it's quite, yeah. I mean, I won't go and, like, annihilate some of these pastors, because some of them are killing our girls.
Right.
And our ladies, and our women, and our mothers and wives. You know, 70% of the women I talk to, their husbands have left them.
Oh, yes.
Because they have no breast. I said, let them go. I mean, this is maybe God's way of telling you that you're with an arsehole. Sorry.
That's fine. That's perfectly okay. That's okay.
Yeah, it's just like he's trying to get rid of that person for you to find somebody who will take care of you and will love you for you outside of your breast.
Yeah.
You know. So I think that's what I advocate. That's what I talk to women about. That's why I try to, you know, make them excited for life when they see me without breasts and still like having fun on my page. And I think that's is important, because your life is not over just because you don't have any breasts. You can still look and feel great. And I think it's really important.
Right. Let's talk about identifying the right supports, getting the right supports.
Right. So one thing I found, again, in especially in Ghana, right? You hear a lot about breast cancer in October.
Yes, only in October.
Yeah, everyone wants a survivor to come and talk and all that.
Yeah.
But after that, you know, the women are left on their own. They are isolated because of the stigma. I mean, yesterday, one of the ladies was telling me that she was diagnosed, and it took 11 years for her to get treatment. Because her whole family said she was a witch. So she's killing people. So she just left Accra and went to hide in some village somewhere. And I said, God kept you alive, right? But these are some of the stories that we hear. So it's not just October that people need support. It's all year round. We have a lot of agencies or organizations that do screening, a lot of organizations that do education and information. So at Safe Haven, what we do is the ongoing day-to-day support. So we are open 2 times in a week, Mondays and Wednesdays from 10 to 4. We have a nurse who works with us. So she's there. We encourage the women to just go in and have a chat, have a sit, enjoy themselves. You know, if we have some pastries, we give it to them, give them drinks, and they just connect with each other, have a time. You know, that's the center.
Okay.
Just chill out, you know, and just connect with each other so that they have that peer support. So we are very big on that, and as well as the nurse giving them extra support. We also provide them with free braziers. Mastectomy braziers, right? So we raise funds to get those, and prosthesis, very expensive. So both braziers and prosthesis are expensive. So we get more braziers than we get prosthesis. But we believe that when you look good, makes you feel better.
Right.
So we try and get these things to the women, and, you know, make them feel good and sexy, and, you know, just carry on with life. You know, some of them have gotten married whilst, you know,
having these,
being connected to us. One person, her husband left because she got breast cancer, and then she got someone and they got married, and we attended the wedding. You know, so it's a beautiful thing.
But
so it's that ongoing support.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right now, I want us to look at after they leave the center, after they are in their homes, they are all alone, they are no more with their peers, their friends, you know, at the center and everything. Emotionally, mentally, you know, psychologically, how does it all come to play in this?
So,
how do they prep themselves?
Yeah, so we have support group meetings twice a month, right? As well as them having access to the center. So we talk to them, we bring doctors, psychologists, psychotherapists, you know, nutritionists. So there's that always ongoing interaction
Constant
with them.
interaction.
So we are always there.
Okay.
And our nurse, Kate, shout out to Kate, she is fabulous. Like, you know, they all love her, and she's available to them 24/7. So there's always someone, you know, available in times of crisis to just support them. So we try, I mean, they have access to us. So we try to, you know, bridge any gap. We just try to make sure they are not feeling isolated, because that's the main thing that we do.
Okay, right. So Stephanie, let's come to dealing with your husband in relation to having the mastectomy and everything. Let's move away from that and let's go to external family members, your family members. How you had to, was it difficult, you know, dealing with them in this regard that, okay, this is what is happening, this is what I'm about to do, this is what I have to do. How did you put it out there to them or present it to them?
I rang my sisters because obviously my mother's passed away and so has my father.
Yeah.
And I rang my sisters and I said, listen, you know, unfortunately, cancer hit, so I'm going to have a mastectomy. And the first thing they said was, but why do you have to take your breast off? And I said, because I want to.
Right.
And they said, but is it what the doctor said? I said, no, but I want to. I don't even want to listen to what your negativity is coming in, because I just said, it's cool. I mean, it wasn't negativity. I think it was more concern. And they realize, they know that I'm like, you know, like overly sort of sexual, loud kind of person.
Yeah.
So they were wondering how I would cope, I think more so than just the breast. And they also know that I'm very tough. And I rationalize everything. I don't overthink anything. If I say I'm going to do it, I just do it. And I made the decision to, and I don't want to hear what anybody else had to say about it. I could have just had the lumpectomy. It was that easy, and gone through the chemotherapy and radiotherapy, but for me, it just wasn't even an option. And I just said, no, just take them off.
Forget about it.
And I think they still don't understand. They don't, but I think it's just them.
Yeah.
That's why God let me have the cancer and not them, because that would have been a problem. And I'm happy to take that on, you know, because my mother died and my aunt died from breast cancer, and I thank God every day that they're still, you know, they're okay. And I was the one that it came to, because I'd probably be beating them for not doing. I'd probably dragging their ass to the doctors to have it done, because this is not something to think too much about.
Right.
You know, to save your life. That's what you have children. I want to be there for my grandchildren, and also because I'm really healthy. I exercise, and some people say, "Oh, but you're so healthy. How come you got it?" It happens. You know, it's not because I wasn't healthy. I'm still able to exercise. I eat well, as in healthy foods. I also eat badly too, but you know, and I had the odd drink. I'm not a saint, but I mean, I look after my body generally. And I think for me it's important, and anybody going through it, and even now, the young ones now are not really taking care of their bodies too much. I think it's really important, because to be able to fight something like this, you do have to be healthy. You know, and I heard you say you don't have breakfast. So worst thing you could do to your body.
You know, I had a feeling you were going to talk about
I was going to smack you on the bottom when I heard that. You have to eat breakfast every day. 4 times a day you have to eat a small bit. You don't eat breakfast either.
You don't
I do intermittent fasting.
Oh, you see, that I hate that kind of fasting.
I do intermittent fasting.
They do say that, you know, to lose weight.
Kept my weight down though.
Yeah, but you see that you think about your weight, you're not thinking about your body.
The health aspect.
Because your body needs to have some food, healthy foods, just so it can get rid of fat. Because people think if I eat less, I'll lose weight. But that's only like a radical short period of time. If you feed your body, your body will know that, okay, I'm always going to get food, so it burns fat.
Yeah.
I don't get it. So if you don't eat, your body holds on to the fat, and all you're losing is not really anything that's good for you. Just water weight and all that kind of, you lose some weight, you think I'm losing weight, and you keep it going. It's terrible. You have to eat more. I read so much on intermittent fasting. I won't eat fat. I'm thinking you're hurting your body.
Yeah.
Really, you just need to eat a little something.
A little.
A boiled egg in the morning. Maybe 3 hours later have granola or whatever, and then later on have something else. It's, it makes more sense. Let's go the old-fashioned route. All these dietary things. Those teas are horrible. You know that, right?
The teas.
The teas are horrible. Sorry?
Love them.
You have the sleeping teas?
Oh no, not the slimming teas. I just like natural teas.
Oh, okay, okay.
So she's talking about the slimming teas on the market.
Oh no.
They're the worst thing for you. It strips your body of all the goodness in your body. It strips it, because all you do is sit on the toilet and poop everything out. What are you drinking
That's
for?
True. That's
just
true.
Eat small amounts through the day. Don't think I'm going to eat fufu and banku and I'll drink the tea and I'll go and sit on the toilet.
You eat fufu?
No, I hate it.
Oh.
No, it's only because it's a mental thing with fufu. When you see people pounding it and the sweat and they're blowing their nose and that, I can't know.
It puts you off.
It puts me off. So I can't. I've never had fufu in my life.
Really?
And my mother never did either. But my sisters love fufu. That's why their ass is growing and mine isn't.
Okay. All right. So we have some comments. Let's take some comments. But I have a question I want to ask you, Stephanie, in relation to sometimes do you get alarmed when you think about the possibility of either of your children having breast cancer?
Oh God, yes. I had the BRCA test. Did you do that?
No, I'm going to do it next month.
Yes,
Okay.
I did the BRCA test just before I had the surgeries because I wanted to know whether, and I was under 25% chance, so I wasn't even high risk.
Okay.
So I'm praying that it doesn't,
Yeah.
But I make my children check. But in the UK, if it's in your family or whatever, they make the kids, not make them, but they go and have smear tests and have mammograms. I think it's compulsory. So every year they get the letter to go and have a mammogram.
Okay.
So I'm keeping an eye on them. My husband sometimes texts them every day and say, "Have you done your
Self-test?
check, your self-test?"
Yes.
And so we're on it.
Okay.
I'm on them.
Right.
Like even my boys, boys get cancer too.
Yes.
I mean breast
Yeah.
cancer too. So yes. I mean my boys, I lay them down and I check it myself. And prostate. No, I'm a nightmare. But yeah, I'm on them. I keep an eye on them, and you have to.
You have to.
You can't sit on your laurels and think it's going.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we have some comments. Let's read them. This one says, "Hi, can breast cancer treatments affect your ability to have a baby?" Okay. Can it? Next one. This breast cancer issue is eating me up, although I'm a guy. Please educate we the guys on how to massage the breast of our wives and fiancés in the house. I'm Kweku Kata Julius inside Asoko Chwe Nyame in Takrade. Hello, Esiedwa. Please, one of my breasts is bigger than the other, but I don't feel any pain in it, and none of the symptoms of breast cancer is on it. I don't know what it is. Okay. All right. So I know that with the human body, obviously one side is slightly bigger than the other, which is a normal thing. Last week we spoke about this on Friday and on Tuesday. No, Thursday and on Tuesday as well. That is very normal. But then the moment when you do the self-examination and then it's significantly different, or the dimples and all those symptoms, please help our viewers out.
So I mean, disclaimer: I'm not a doctor.
Yes.
We usually have the doctor who comes on with us, so he would answer those questions.
Yeah.
But I mean, just generally, we don't have, our breasts are not, unless you've had like some sort of surgery, cosmetic surgery. Everyone's breasts are not equally shaped.
Yes.
Right? But if you do have a concern, then like I said, there's so many breast screening services available in Ghana, especially during October. Just go get it checked out. Right? But just having breasts which are not equally sized doesn't mean you have breast cancer.
No, my daughter has one small breast and one the big one. I mean, I think one is like a B and the other is like almost like a D.
Okay.
So yeah, and my sister also, one of my sisters has the same. I think mine were perfect before, but no, I'm joking. I don't know. I didn't pay much attention to it because I started breastfeeding early. I had my first child at 21.
Okay.
So I think I didn't really pay attention to what they were. But so don't worry about it at all. If it's different sizes, it's okay. It's the inverted nipples that can be when it's flaking or when you squeeze and the blood comes out. Those are the symptoms, as well as the lump that you might get. Sometimes it's just a boil if you have a lump, or it could be benign. So don't panic. You just have to know what it is. So yeah, the nipple test is one of those things. So don't panic. If your nipples is okay, if it's retracted, then it's a problem. If it's inverted, it's a problem too.
Okay.
So go and have a check. It could be nothing.
Yes.
But it's worth checking.
Yes, it's just worth checking. So, Stephanie, let's talk about you being honored a global peace ambassador for Ghana and UK.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Can you imagine? I mean, I think when I first put it out there, when they rang me and they said the UN, I was thinking of that guy with the funny teeth. I thought it was him. Until the call came from New York, and I'm thinking, has the guy gone to New York? Maybe he's starting this thing in New York. And then, Dr. Andres Bass called me from the UN office and said that I was being nominated. I'm thinking, oh, wow. Okay, I hope it's not one of those nominations where you have to get people to call. She said, no. A month later, they called me and said they wanted to fly me out to New York to the UN building. I'm thinking, well, okay, so that's for real. And they wanted my husband to come out as well. So they flew both of us out. They said it was a nomination. I was against all kinds of people. We're talking about ex-presidents and whatnot. And the humanitarian award and leadership award they gave me as well was from Biden, which was like, so they had a representative from the White House come in and offer it. And I was like, what? So when they called me for the doctorate, I was sitting there and they called me to put my robe on. I'm thinking, hey, they say now let's talk about sex with my doctor, Stephanie Benson. It felt so good. And then they called me like 4 times. I think I was the most honored there. Wow. And I was thinking, what did I do?
What did you do? Yeah.
I mean, and I think they do a lot of extensive research. They did so much research. So when they were telling me, they go through your background as well. They make sure you don't have any CCJs, no like arrest, no nothing, even your family, you know. And I wish they told me, because I had to check with my sisters. Have you guys been arrested? Do you have it? It's like anything. But they did all of that, and they deemed me worthy. And because I don't really broadcast what I do for a lot of people so much, so I think they read a lot of comments. And I started a school of performing arts free for young ladies as well, and I was mentoring a lot of ladies. And I think they read the DMs of the women that I've helped, you know, that I've paid for as well, and they followed up on all of that. So they did, you know, because I was sitting there thinking, how? I mean, how? It was beautiful. My husband was so proud.
Is Steph's Secrets officially out?
Yes, Steph's Secrets is out.
Okay.
Steph's Secrets is, a lot of the ladies were coming to me saying that, you know, it's morning TV, so when I'm talking about these things, I panic. They're talking about you know, I'll take it generally, like the normal health, you know, because I think the sexual history was not working for them.
Okay.
You know, the men always wanted it one-sided, like as in they wanted to be pleasured, and they weren't being pleasured because the men were afraid that the bits they wasn't smelling so good or whatever. So I brought some products out that would help. It's just like a daily wash. You put in your wash in your shower, and all you have to do is squeeze one, wash the place, and honestly, it just keeps the balance beautiful. It's probiotic, so it just keeps the pH levels around there fine, because dead skin and all of that contributes. I also have a mask that will help with the bumps, so it looks good as well. So when you're showing it, it's like,
okay.
I know
gives you
guys are gonna, yeah, so it gives you the confidence to take it all out there and say, look at me. So Steph's Secrets is just fabulous for ladies, just to feel confident down there.
Right. So how would you say it's going?
It's going really well.
Yeah.
it's going. I'm trying to. Initially, it was like a small thing I was going to use to help people, but it's growing. So now, I have to make it a company.
I think you have.
I mean, I was just trying to do like something small, but now it's growing, and I think it's going to help a lot of women. And women are coming back and saying, "Oh my God, Steph, thank you," because I used to worry because of sweat in the country, and all of us. Listen, I'm small, but still, my thighs still.
They rub against each other.
So it's the dead skin there, and that's you want to keep it healthy. So it doesn't matter how long I've been out. If I've used my thing, I can open my legs at any time. I'm sorry, you shouldn't have your morning TV.
That's okay, but you should be bringing some of the products to Ghana.
Yeah, no, they're here.
They're here.
They're here. They're in the UK. They haven't got to the US yet, but they're here. So if you go to IG Steph Secrets by Stephanie Benson, you can get one. And I'm going to try and get companies to sponsor it so I can keep the price down. Because I think it's a general thing for everybody, for anybody to be able to afford, not just the wealthy, because I want everybody to be able to buy it. It's just good. It's like having a face wash. If you can wash your face, you do need down there. I do also have lubricants, aloe vera based. It's also very healthy. So when it goes in, it's not silicone, I don't even know how to explain that one. So I'll skip it. Let's skip the lubricant.
Right.
But all the others are fabulous.
Okay.
Really good for the ladies.
Okay.
Right. So.
Okay. So my dear ladies, you've heard it right from Stephanie Benson. If you're interested in this, just go to her IG page. So the link is in your bio.
Yes, it's in my bio.
Okay.
And if you go to IG and just put in Steph Secrets, it will come up, and my girl Risa will take care of you. Don't worry about it. And actually, if you call after this, I'll let her give you 20% off.
Okay. That's really great. All right, so we have a few more comments. Let's take these comments. Hello, please. Good morning. I'm Julian from Spintex. Loving your show. I think women should support women when they tell us about their cancers. Yes, you should. True. It's imperative. Please. Yes. Good morning, fam. Please, there are a lot of young ladies out there who have breast cancer, but where to get the support is the problem. A friend of mine, for instance, has the cancer, but she says she doesn't have money to go for the surgery. Osika Empress. And that is the reason that we have Safe Haven Cancer Center here to support you. And then we also have Stephanie Benson here also to help you. Stephanie, you've been doing very well by paying for, surgeries and all that for women.
Every month I take 4 to 5 women because it's expensive. And I can only sort of do so much. I have a good friend who has a cancer charity called Pink for Africa. Oh. And Juliet. And they work directly with Kolebu and whatnot. So if somebody comes to me, and because they don't help directly with one person, whereas I do. So if somebody comes to me and I've already hit my quota of the 4 or 5, then I call. I say, Jules, can your company just sponsor even some of the money? She can't give all because they're a company, So she will help me out a little bit, but I can only take like 4 to 5. Right now, I have like 5, 6 women waiting, and every month you hold on is a month that they're not going. So I worry, and I don't have time to start a charity myself. So it is tough, and I'm thinking the sales from Steph Secrets will go and help sponsor a lot of them because I'm always worrying about people. Always.
That's incredible.
We have to be their support. And also positive energy. I'm sure you tell your ladies, surround yourself with positive energy. There's so many negative energies out there. So when you find that you have cancer, please eliminate the negative energy in your space. Friends, family.
Yeah, family.
All of that, and you'll find you'll heal a lot better.
Yeah, stress is a big factor.
Yeah.
Feeds cancer.
So we always tell the ladies, don't stress.
Right.
Find your happy place and stay in it.
Find a hobby.
Find a hobby.
Yes, finding something, because I was doing kickboxing.
Okay.
Find something that will keep your mind going. Your mind needs to be exercised, otherwise you go into a downward spiral.
Okay. All right. Janet, where can people find Safe Haven? Is there a phone number to call as well?
Yes, there's a phone number to call. I got it here.
Okay.
So it's 026-702-1391. And we are located at Tessano, 3872 at Naata Close.
Naata Close,
Naata Close, right? Yeah.
Okay.
This is, I just have to mention something.
Okay.
So I live in Canada, right? But so the organization here is being run by very good friends of mine. One of them actually supported me. She was living in Canada at the time, and she supported me through my challenge. So that's what's made her passionate about it. They say things in Ghana don't work. I haven't had that experience.
They don't usually work.
Yeah, but
you're lucky. You've got some good people.
My directors and my patrons are just fantastic, and so they run. I hardly have to do anything. One of them is here. That's Eunice over there.
Oh, okay.
She's fabulous.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you're lucky. You're lucky because nothing I've done is work.
Wow, incredible. Okay, viewers, so this is where we end this conversation. I hope that you've learned a lot from the journeys of Janet and Stephanie Benson here. And thank you so much for your comments and your questions. And let's keep on pushing the awareness of breast cancer. If you haven't gotten to get checked, please make sure that you do so, okay? My name is Asiedu Akomia, and my guests today have been Janet Bracco Hiapa, who is the co-founder of Safe Haven Cancer Center Support right here in Ghana and in Canada, and the Queen of Jazz, Stephanie Benson. Ladies, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And all the best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All the best. All right.